Hello there guys, and of course, welcome on into yet another one with us, the Review Bros. Aaron, good to have you watching along today, of course, of a hyped pre-workout. And I've got to say, it's not too often a special one arises from the dark, and this might just be the one that does it. It's EUPHORIA Bliss by Star Labs Nutrition. And I've got to say, exactly as I mentioned, out of nowhere, we've got quite a few people asking us to get this one reviewed. We've got the guys, of course, at Gym Power UK to thank for sending it on down. We're going to break it into the usuals, the taste, price, label, and primarily the effects of this one in the real world. Is it going to be the next hyped stim junkie pre-workout for you? Let's find out now. Right, so that moves us into our first segment. God, it's hot. It's the taste and it's the mixability of this stuff. So, funny one, this one. It comes in two different flavours. It comes in Rocket Pop, which is actually the flavour we've not got. We've got the Snow Cone one, my apologies. It's just that looks like a typical Rocket Pop look. But it's Snow Cone. So, right, so the funny thing is, there was no scoop in mine at all, which is quite funny. Now, I've heard on the grapevine, guys, be warned when it concerns your scoops, because I've heard all array of things. So someone reckons that they had a scoop that was pretty much double the serving size. And we've always said this with pre-workouts anyway, especially when we're talking the most of the underground world. Always weigh your scoops. The amount of them that are wrong is unbelievable. And that's with actually mainstream pre-workouts, let alone the underground ones. So make sure it weighs in at around 12.8 grams per scoop. Now, I've got a scoop actually from another pre-workout that actually weighs the same as that. So let's give it a go. Reason being, guys, if you do a double scoop of this stuff, you really will be seeing stars. It might even be the last thing you see. So, quality control not ticked. So we obviously can't promote that, but at the same time, with this type of product, you're not expecting stringent rules behind the factory. Anyway, I digress a little. Let's crack on with the shaking. So, and if you look at the powder, guys, you know you're talking illicit shit, right? That's the truth here. We've been reviewing these pre-workouts for long enough to know when a powder looks like the real deal. So, Snow Cone going down the hatch now. It's really good. To me, it actually just tastes like Rocket Pop. I've used it a few times before today, and it was only when I was just looking at it right this second for the review, I actually realised it was Snow Cone. It's got a Rocket lolly type taste, candy-esque. It's actually really good. Really good. I'd give it a straight 9 out of 10. Honestly, it's really good stuff. Considering what's apparently in it. We're on to a strong start. Let's get into the price of this one. Okay, price point, guys. Let's keep this one short and sweet. As I mentioned at the start, a big thanks to Gym Power for sending it on down. Head on over to their website. They've got a lot of good products there. I've got to say, they're one of the better UK retailers of pre-workouts. Now, use code REVIEWBROS to knock off a percentage off of pretty much all the products there, including this one. You can therefore pick this one up for £45 and you get 25 genuine servings from the container. Therefore, it costs us £1.80 per serving. And on our consistent pricing scale, where a 5 out of 10 is an average pre-workout price, this one comes out at a 4.5. So it is slightly more expensive than your average pre-workout, but I've got to say it, we could be looking at a shining star here for just over the average price point. It's an exciting time, it's an exciting day, let's move into the label and see what she's packing for that cash. Okay, so what's supposedly inside this underground pre-workout? It's EUPHORIA Bliss. So as I mentioned, about 12.8 grams. It might vary very slightly flavour to flavour. And we start off at the top here. We've got citrulline, 6 grams, good dosage. Pumps, nitric oxide production, blood flow. Beta-alanine, 3.2 grams. Again, the clinical dosage here. Beta-tingle, the itchy paresthesia type feel as the pre-workout kicks in. Endurance down the line. We've got L-carnitine tartrate at 2 grams, good dosage. L-carnitine, a fat burner, and might even metabolise fat cells in the body for an instant energy source. We have glycerol monosterate at 1.5 grams, which is a lower dose, but glycerol, we like it. You know, it gives you that sponge-like feel, that pump effect. We've got choline citrate, 500, pretty poor dose. Choline, focus, concentration. It's going to work with some of the other bits in here, though. Coconut water, 500 for hydration benefits. We've got caffeine anhydrous at 300 milligrams, energy drink level, nothing extreme here. Energy and stimulation, of course. We've got DMBA, probably the shining star of the label. A strong, potent stimulant, all right? Down the energy urgency route rather than highness euphoria. DMAE, not to be confused with any of the illicits here, guys. It's not DMAA, DMHA, DMBA. It's not a potent thing, right? And 200 milligrams is a low dose. It's just there for a bit of focus and concentration. You won't really feel much from it. Aurea durensis, 100, dubbed the natural variation of DMHA. It's quite a low dose here, but perhaps some energy, some stimulation, some focus, some mood elevation, we hope. Really flying through the label here. We've got decaffeine malate at 70 milligrams. Now, I'm not too sure if that's the yielded amount or not. It probably isn't, so we're probably only looking at about 50 caffeine for a prolonged energy towards the end of your training session. It digests a bit slower. Huperzine A at 100 micrograms. Focus, concentration dialed in. And we wrap off alpha-eohimbine at 2 milligrams. Now, that's a respectable dose, to say the least. Adrenaline precursor, fat burner, energy and urgency through the roof, even at that dosage. I've got to say, guys, you know the real deal. This could be special. It could fall flat on its face. Underdose. It's an all over the place label. We're not here to really look at the label, I don't think, with this type of product. It's effects time now. Okay, guys, it is, of course, time for the primary segment of any review. It's the effects of this stuff in the real world. Forget the hype and anything I've said so far in the review. You know, it's all nicey on the label, the hype, the fact we've been asked about this product, the ingredients label, the flavour, all of that. Now, it's got all the feels, all the looks of an underground special Stim Junkie pre-workout. And it's from Texas, apparently. So we could be looking at even more legitimate stuff here. Now, for beginners, it's always advised that you stay away from these type of pre-workouts. They're not for beginners, not even intermediate users, because there is a chance that it's very strong stuff. Now, how did I feel it? In truth, right? It's definitely down the Stim Junkie pathway, and in a very interesting way. Let's do a bit of reversing. Beta-alanine, start at the beginning of the journey. Beta-alanine comes in nicely. It's definitely not crazy on the beta scale. It's a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 5 out of 10. You know, you feel the beta-alanine, but the urgency, the sense of internal pressure waiting to explode comes in. Heart rate goes up, sweating starts. You definitely notice just a feeling of the burners being switched on inside the body. I've got to say, it does give you a nice sense of urgency. You get on down the gym, guys, and it's there working with you. That DMBA, I believe, is legit in here. It is, it's interesting. Now, I would say one thing. I've got to be honest. We're always honest. The name Euphoria, is that accurate? I would say, it's hard to say, what do you class euphoria as? Because some people class it as mood elevation, some people class it as highness, some people class it as the combination of the both. I wouldn't say I was high or floaty on this pre-workout. I did a bit, but not, it's not DMHA, DMAA pre, is it, right? That's probably the bottom line here. It's not written on the label, and they're not pretending it's in it, so we can't blame them for that. What we can say, it's a sweaty pre. That's for sure. I absolutely crushed training each time I've used it. I killed legs today. It's one of those guys, you do have to say enough is enough in the gym. It is the real deal. Heart rate is up. It doesn't affect your breathing, not in a negative way, right? You're able to keep going through training, crushing this exercise, that. The focus is really good. Mood elevation is very apparent. So if you want to class euphoria as mood elevation, the box has been ticked. It keeps going after training. Heart rate is still up now. Energy is just there. It's just one of those where you are productive as darn hell on it. It reminds me of something special. And I don't want to get you too excited because it's not that special, but we are talking something that came out 4 or 5 years ago. It's maybe even 6 years ago now. And when I say this, I say it with caution to anyone watching because I don't want to get you too excited. But it's down the pathway of a couple of pre-workouts. And when I say down the pathway, right, all pre-workouts have systematic conditions to themselves. They all work on a semicircle. They'll all move in different pathways. You'll have urgency, you'll have highness. They all have their own strengths and they all move in the same pathways. It's very hard to explain. Perhaps I'll try and, perhaps I'll try and explain it in a separate video someday in the future. But let's just say the pathway in this direction is, and again, listen carefully guys, because it is important. Dark energy and dark horse. You remember those two classic pre-workouts? They gave severe mood elevation, severe pumps in the gym. They even tasted similar to this one. They had the similar look and a similar feel, but they are at the extremes. I would say this is down that pathway. Perhaps only though, however, to a 30-40% degree, but it still gets me so excited at that 12-gram dosage. Perhaps not as much highness, but mood elevation, just the general feel that I get. It's just a pre-workout that just feels really nice, really nice. It's a special sauce in there. And it's just bringing back those memories for me. It is just bringing back those memories and that gets me excited. I don't want you to go and get this pre-workout and think it is dark energy, but like I say, it's in the day we're in today, in the time we're in, it's the nearest thing you can get. Like I say, it's 40% of the way there. It's not 100%. If it was 100%, it is dark energy. It's 40%, which is still darn good. It is still darn good. Pumps are severely good on it, despite the fact we're not even here for that. Focus is good. I've got to say, if you ask me in 6 months' time, a year's time, what do I remember? It's mood elevation and it's urgency, energy in a healthy, productive feeling way. It's a good boy. It is a good boy. Now, not much more can be said other than use caution when using it. That must be said. I reckon, honestly, and this must be taken with the ultra pinch of salt for the extreme advanced users out there. Experiment by going perhaps 13.5 grams, 14 grams. But that goes into a different realm that we can't get into on the review, right? That's just an add hoc bit of information. It's real shit, guys. Well done. Get it while you can, Gym Power, from Gym Power. I noticed one of the flavours is already sold out, so well done, Star Labs, whoever you may well be. I'd love to know what other pre-workouts they've brought us. I reckon they know some other shit, right? Appreciate you watching at home. As always, stay stimmed. Cheers for watching.